Going live, going live, going live. What is happening? Greetings, Earthlings. What's poppin'? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today, we're going to start out with a brief light body activation, but then I also want to give you guys something that I've been really thinking about, which is meaning over the idea of reward, okay? Now, this is basically the fight in our own neurochemicals and within our own hormones. It's a fight of oxytocin, with dopamine, with testosterone, with estrogen. All of these different things are fighting with each other, and one wants the upper hand. And often the two that clash are serotonin and dopamine, right? Those are the two that clash. And if you have a very addictive type of personality, or maybe you want the instant gratification, of course, culture perpetuates that right now. I always say to people that you aren't ADHD, culture makes you ADHD sometimes because of so much information out there, you know? Really understanding. Can you guys hear me, by the way? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I don't know. I'm doing these lives after a while. So essentially, what I've been thinking about is the clash between the purpose and the pleasure, right? Because dopamine is the reward neurochemical. If we think about it, it's what gets activated every time we have a Pavlovian response, right? We see something that we feel, okay, this is giving me a sense of pleasure in life, right? This is activating pleasure and pleasure receptors in my brain at this moment, right? So understanding that, and then also understanding that, okay, I have the long-term happiness also at play. So you know the short bursts of hedonic happiness, which is much more like, let's say it's much more like having a drink, you know, having a smoke, going for a party, right? Having a conversation with somebody, having a snack that fulfills you very momentarily, right? Very temporarily. If you guys have heard of the marshmallow test, you understand the benefit of this long-term gratification. And that's why so many YouTubers that you scroll across that you scroll across and you find them, they're talking about dopamine detoxes and all this kind of stuff, right? Because we live in such a culture where dopamine is feeding into our reward cues. So when we feel lonely, we go to Facebook. When we feel lonely, we start swiping on Tinder. When we feel lonely, we start going on Instagram or on YouTube, right? So when we have these internal drives, these internal urges, all these companies actually understand our internal cues of dopamine receptors and the serotonin, and it's putting this into play. So sometimes we are not in control of our neurochemicals. We're being hacked by actually other people around us, companies around us, different ideologies and ideas around us, right? So really starting to understand this split, this duality of serotonin and dopamine. I've understood that I've had to distance myself from the immediate pleasure of dopamine and actually open the gateway in terms of understanding that, hey, I might have to wait a while. Like I'm working out each day and I'm not going to see like a change in my body overnight. But I know that if I put a deposit into the bank account of my health every single day, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating clean, you know, I'm working out, I'm moving, I'm listening to binaural beats, right? Doing all of the things that are required of me, and also staying away from the bad habits that are distracting me or give me more dopamine than I need at that moment. So I'm actually creating this reward reserve, right? Of just like, and it's expansive. And eventually you're going to get these withdrawals, and those withdrawals are completely normal in terms of if you're doing something for the long term, you're going to get this feeling of like, okay, I'm here to stretch out this pleasure, but it's much more of a purposeful pleasure. It's like you're building something, right? It's growth mindset. You're building something. It's like you're building a family. It's like you're building a legacy. It's like you're building a business. It's like you're building your body, right? That takes time. That takes time and that takes patience. And patience is one of the biggest survival values that you can demonstrate into this world, right? So really understanding that patience and that long-term model. And instead of going with that toxicity of the brief pleasure that we get, but then it drops back down and lower to our baseline, and then we feel emptied out, right? So this is what I'm really trying to perpetuate through this video and understanding that. Anyway, guys, I also wanted to introduce to you guys a very quick light body activation, okay, before I really get into this topic. So essentially how I've come to understand this is that we are electromagnetic creatures, right? And there's a current running through us all the time. Some people try to understand this, and I think scientists are starting to, you know, how we see our bones through an X-ray, and we see our, you know, our musculoskeletal system and our organs and all that stuff. Well, I think in the future we'll be able to actually see people's electromagnetic auras, right? We'll be able to actually see that in people and how much it actually spreads across, right, our etheric body, and we'll be able to see like who has a very strong aura and whose aura has energy leaks in it and is kind of, you know, not shining as bright as it could be. And I think that that's going to be very valuable. I know that science hasn't caught up with this yet, but I'm ahead of the curve, right? I'm just telling you guys right now so you guys can really understand this and embody it and apply this wisdom immediately, right? Instead of actually waiting like 10 years from now when it actually, you know, kicks off and takes place. So let me just remind you of this quick exercise that I do when I feel scrambled, when I'm like scrolling and I get that dopamine hit of like, oh man, I'm scrolling and I'm on the endless scroll of death, whatever you want to call that, right? Or if I'm just like very distracted throughout my day and I'm doing something completely different, but I know that I've got to actually work on this specific project, what I end up doing is a light body activation. Now, what you want to do basically is, one, focus on your heartbeat. Where attention goes, energy flows. We already know this, right? So when we put attention on something that we've been missing, let's say there's a part of your body that hasn't been getting attention. True or false? There's a very specific part of your body that you've been like, nah, I'm ignoring this. Maybe you've skipped leg day. Maybe you aren't paying attention to your ankle health. Maybe your knees have just completely gone off the map. Maybe your lower back, yeah, pains all the time, but you aren't really tackling that issue. Maybe it's like your neck area where you're putting your head down to look at your phone like this. So whatever area of your body that is, you've kind of taken it off of the map, right? You're paying less attention to it, so energy isn't flowing to it, so it's stagnating. So what's the cure here? What's the remedy here? Well, to put your attention back into those spots that you have been taking attention away from. Okay, so let this video be a reminder that if you've taken away attention from even a specific area of your life, right, to put attention back. Now pay attention to your heartbeat. The heartbeat is the Google Translate, right? That's who you're communicating with your body right now. Your body doesn't know anything else. Your body doesn't know English or French or Japanese. It knows breath, and it knows your heartbeat. Your heart rate variability controls your flow state. Okay, so really start to understand, okay, what is my heartbeat telling me right now? Just tune into that heartbeat and feel the energy, the space around your heart. There's a space around your heart. I want you to tune into that space, and I want you to feel it expand. Right? I want you to feel that expand. Hey there, JB, what's happening, brother? Yeah, I'm live after a while, man. But yeah, I'm giving you guys a light body activation right now, so check it out. So feel the power in your heart right now. Just tune into that. All right? Tune into that and just really feel into that heartbeat. It's like when Tom Cruise is running, right? That's what it be like in the movies, right? That's what it's like, right? Tune into the heartbeat. And again, feel the space around the heartbeat and feel it expand very slowly. And now what I want you to do is I want you to feel the outline of your body. Okay, feel the outline of your body as if it was a cartoon character. Like if you just erased all of the middle part of the cartoon and you just had the outline, like if it was just a sketch, like an outline of a comic strip that hasn't been colored in yet. Just feel that Feel the aura around you just expanding. Get more conscious of that. And now what I want you to do, now you focused on your heartbeat, okay, your heart rate. Now you focused on the outline. Now what I want you to do is focus on your spine. And I want you to focus on each little vertebrae of your spinal column from the bottom to the top, okay? And the way you do this to add much more vitality to this visualization as you're doing this, I want you to go as you're doing that, you're actually imagining your spine is lengthening as you're going, okay? So the first step, okay, is the heartbeat. Second step is the outline of your body. Third step is the spinal column, and just imagining it like it's unlocking as it's reaching the top, okay? So that's a quick light body activation. And then at the end of it, step 4, I've given you 3 steps now. Step 4 is actually imagining them wrapping around each other, almost like an electromagnetic, I don't know what to call it, man. It's like a Beyblade, right? It's like, right? It starts spinning and it starts expanding. So imagine the energy from your heart that you created and the energy from your spine that you created working together to create this expansion, okay, taking place. So that's really a really quick technique to get you back into your auric field again, right? And just getting you really focused back in to what you're doing. Because the arterial body and the nervous system need to work together. Your heart and your mind need to work together. And that's where you find that synchronization happening and that flow state kicking in. So this is a really quick tool, but it's a very powerful tool. JB says, I was about to look up a Hertz frequency channel. Brother, if you have any requests for Hertz frequencies, I'm going to drop some. I'm doing a lot of requests on Fiverr as well, guys, okay? I'm doing a lot of requests on Fiverr for binaurals and creating, subliminals and Hertz frequencies and morphic frequencies, all that kind of stuff I'm doing. But I can't put too much of my attention on that because it takes me a while to really formulate it to the best of my ability, right? And it takes me a lot of my time, and my time is very valuable, you know what I mean? So I need to, if you are interested in that, let me know and I'll get you in contact with that. Right now I'm working on my program. Okay, my program is called Flomo Sapien, okay? Flomo Sapien, it's an awesome name. It got voted by the most people who voted for that name for my new program. So thank you for that, for the people who voted. And yeah, basically I'm going to take people through all of the chakra systems, okay? Not the chakra systems, but basically the different maps. Like there's a scale of consciousness and the chakra system. I'm going to take you through the scale of consciousness and the different chakras. So week 1, root. And the thing is, it's not like any other system because what I'm doing is I'm focusing on the archetype. I'm highly interested in your archetypes within each of your chakras, right? So the first one is the sovereign being the king or the queen. So that is the root, right? That is the base, that is the foundation. If you don't look after the foundation of the kingdom of your life, what are you going to do? You're going to feel scattered. Then week 2, we have the sacral, the lover, all right? And really focusing on the lover and the lover archetype and the seducer archetype and the creative archetype of the lover and how you appreciate the beauty of the planet and the world. Are you doing that? Right? Week 3, we go right into the solar plexus. That's the warrior, right? Then we go into the heart, which is the jester. Then we go into the messenger. Then we go into the oracle, right? And finally, we go into the mystic. So it's really about, going up the ladder and just releasing the trauma, releasing the trapped emotions and energy, and just doing a bit of fine tuning and cleaning until you get to the top of week 7. Week 8 is taking all those characters and integrating them all together. And I'm working with gene keys. I'm working with different models of individualist.org, different models of really personality quizzing and really getting you to your character. Who is your character? Who is the character that you're here to play in this particular physical plane? Okay? That's what it is. And then we go into, I mentioned week 7, week 8, week 9, we're going into cash flow. Then the next week is love flow, then focus flow, then creative flow. Well, creative flow, then focus flow. We end with focus flow because that's the most important one. Focus is basically the superpower here, right? So as you go through this program, you'll notice you just feel a lot lighter and freer with your expression and your beingness. You're not holding yourself back. You're like, I'm not unsure of who I am. I don't know. That lost feeling is going to be gone because you're going to be a Flomo sapien, because you're going to be tapped into your flow code. And that's what I ultimately want for you. And that's the journey that I went through twice myself with different mentors, right? This whole process of what I discovered this technique, as well as, refining it and adding my own blueprint as a coach, because I've been doing this for a while, right? Adding my own modality to this so I can fine tune it and give you the right toolkit that is meant for you, because not everybody's character is the same. Right? Everybody's character is different, and who they prefer to be is different from the character that they're playing. Sometimes self-sabotage kicks in, right? And you're playing this role that protects you, and there's a part of you that loves it, so you're holding on to it. How can we become aware of that part of you that you still love, right? That is a hidden payoff for you, that we can actually get rid of that? Because right now, the character that you're being a nice guy, or being a person who is, playing small, those versions of you, in some regard, it's a hidden payoff for you. It makes you feel you're in your comfort zone. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel the pleasure. It makes you feel the dopamine instead of the serotonin of the hero's journey. The hero's journey is the serotonin. Think about that. Right? The entire hero's journey is a journey of meaningfulness. It brings meaning to your life. That's what serotonin does. So if you're not getting enough sunlight, right? If you're not taking certain kind of supplementation, if you're not on the path towards this flow state mastery journey or the flow state activation journey, then you're really playing into a smaller game. And that game is just, let me numb myself, let me distract myself, let me escape, let me avoid this situation, let me not do that. Not really. Oh no, not that. That's just not me. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's what it's gonna be like. Right? So once you really establish that, okay, I'm moving away from this energy and I'm adopting this newfound energy, now things are going to start to shift. Okay, so that's my program, Flomo Sapien. If you are interested, shoot me a message in terms of that. I'm going to do more of these lives if you guys like them. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you, and stay legendary. See you guys next time. Paste any questions in the live stream below if you have any. I'm going to answer them right away. Peace. And stream.